Good morning, good afternoon, Norfolk Wine and Spirits, Norfolk Whiskey Group. Today we have a very special guest, co-founder of Ajiri Tea. I believe that's the name, and Ajiri Foundation, and Sara Holby. So Sara, welcome.
Thanks.
And great to have you here. And I just want to, about a month ago, I was given a beautiful set of tea, like four teas in a box. And with that came information about your foundation and how you're helping people out in Kenya. And I would love to be part of this, and I would love to help support what you're doing. So I just wanted to introduce you to our consumers and people who might be watching this little video clip. And so tell us about yourself, and then we can talk about how you got into this.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm excited to be here. We're so psyched to be here. It's only work when we have stores. So thank you, Vikram, for including it, and everybody for listening and wanting to learn about it. I think there's a lot to Ajiri. There's a lot of levels. It's not just a box of tea or just a box of coffee, and so because of that, it sometimes takes a little bit of learning about. But I'm hopeful that once consumers and people learn about it and hear the details, that they'll be just as excited as we are.
Of course, yeah. I mean, there are very few people who take the leap of faith and go out and make it their mission to help others. It's so easy to, just be able to write a check or something like that. But you have done that. So how did that happen, Sara?
Yeah. So I guess I should show you what it is that we're talking about.
Sure.
So what we have is tea and coffee from Kenya. And we started this over 10 years ago. So when I graduated from college, I went to work in Kenya for a year. I had a grant to work there and ended up starting this really with the goal of creating employment for women in Western Kenya. So I had been working for an organization that ultimately was just sort of handing out food and medicine to people, which was great. But it was 2008, 2009, and the economy kind of collapsed beneath us. They weren't getting donations anymore. And so the whole structure fell apart. So our goal here is really not to rely on donations, but is to really create a sustainable cycle. So employing women to make our packaging for our product, but they can do with the profits or, with their earnings, whatever they'd like. So we employ the women, we buy the tea from that same region in Kenya, and then our profits are donated to our nonprofit to pay school fees for orphans in that same area. So, I was there for a little over a year, and really the goal is to create this sustainable cycle of employment and education in Kisii specifically, which is an area about maybe a 5-hour drive west of Nairobi.
Oh, is that right? Okay. Now, so you said you went there in 2008, 2009. And when did this foundation, it must have taken it's not a very easy step to just go out and say, you know what, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to help very specific folks in a very specific region of Kenya. So you went out and did that. And what was the thought process? How did you go about doing that? And was there any pushback from family, friends, or others, or how did that come about?
That's a good question. I am really lucky how involved and supportive our family has been in this whole process. So when we started, my sister was still in college. My mom had actually studied abroad in Kenya in the 70s when she was in college. So we have a real connection to Kenya. We have had a lot of support from friends in Kenya who we have known since my mom studied abroad there in the 1970s. So we have a really long-term connection to a lot of different people, which is part of what made this work. And while I say it's myself and my sister who started it, it is a full family enterprise.
Of course.
My dad's a lawyer, so we were lucky enough to get him to do a lot of the setup work for it. And yeah, so it seems all of those parts of the growing pains from 10, 11, 12 years ago, they were a lot at the time, but I'm feeling good. Like we really are, after 10 plus years, feeling good and sort of settled and secure and have a really great connection to the community we work with.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of support all around from a lot of different people to make this happen. It certainly couldn't happen in a bubble.
Oh, great. So it has been 10 years, and at this point, there are about 30 kids that you're helping. And what was it initially? How did it has been consistently 30, or how did that come about, or are there plans to expand? What are your plans there?
That's a good question. So our foundation is currently sponsoring 30 students in school. 21 of those are high schoolers. They all go to boarding schools. These students are all orphans, so some of them do have one parent, but most have no parents. We send them to boarding schools because those are by far the best schools in Kenya versus the day schools. We also send them to boarding school because in boarding school, they are equal to everybody. So you don't know what your family's like. You don't know where you come from. And there's a very set list of what we need to send them with: their uniform, their shoes. It's hard to have things to make you look cool because it's a set uniform. Yeah. So that being said, we send them to school, but we do a lot more than just send kids to school. We run enrichment programming like computer camps. When there was no COVID, we ran computer camps. We took the students to Nairobi to meet with big offices there to see what they could do post high school, post college. We even like smaller things. We act a lot of the time, our employees in Kenya act as sort of parents. They go to the parent teacher conferences, they go to the visiting days, they check on the report card, they find out why the student didn't show up to school, they know the family life, they know what the situation is of each student at home. So because of that, 30 is sort of the number that we have settled out where we feel like we can be as involved as we are in every student's life. Some kids, it's easy and they go to school and they get A's and they come home and they do their homework and they're easy. And then some, just like here, don't show up to school and, and you have to sort of figure out why that is and what's going on. And they have the students have a lot going on at home a lot of the time. So we have 30 kids. We have 27 who have graduated through our program through high school. And most of those have gone on to some form of higher education. Some are in university, some have finished university, some have joined sort of the youth program in Kenya, which then sent them to university. Some have joined the trades, like we have some who are in plumbing school. And after high school, it's up to them as to what they're going to do, but we hope that we've set them up with a foundation they've finished their education and also sort of some extra skills like computer skills and confidence to go on to do whatever they want within their country.
Yeah, no, fantastic.
Yeah.
That's really good. Kudos and good luck. It seems like you're settled on a good rhythm with the X number of people, and you're helping. It's just the right size. You're not trying to grow so that, but you're getting the quality of care and just mentoring these kids as they're growing up. You're basically building future for many, many families in the long run. So let's talk about the tea and the coffee too, because I noticed there are quite a few different arrays of tea. And how do you source them? What is and they're beautiful packages too. So tell us about that too.
Yeah. So let me jump in and tell you about the packages first. Okay. Perhaps. So Ajiri means to employ in Swahili. So we employ about 60 women in Western Kenya to make the labels for the boxes. Oh, wow. So every single label on every single box is handmade. Trying to do this right.
I see it. Yeah, it looks.
They use bark from banana trees and cut it out into different designs. So I'll stack this up so I won't keep waving them around.
Almost like pieces of art right there.
Yeah, so it's bark from banana trees cut out. They do whatever designs they want, which is what's really fun to see the different artwork that they do.
Yeah.
This white paper that they make the designs on is made out of water hyacinth, which is an invasive plant in Lake Victoria. So
I see.
The paper itself comes from Lake Victoria. We employ the women to make the packaging. They cut it out, they glue it on. And then we ship it here to the US. Inside of every box, some of the older women make beads and twines. So these beads are made out of magazines, and these twines are made out of banana tree bark. This is sort of a decorative touch at this point. but we have a lot of older women who just don't have the dexterity to make the labels, and so they're able to do this. So that's how we work with them.
Mhm.
And then we sort of have it inside. It's like a little to from gift note.
Gift note. Okay.
So we have the women who make the labels, and I'm as I talk so passionately about the students, I'm equally excited about the women. I think they are doing some great things with the money. They've started a table banking group, which is sort of a form of savings amongst themselves, where they every month when they get paid, they put some of their earnings on literally on a table, and then they can borrow it and pay the interest back to the group. And at the end of the year, the group has extra money. So the women and they're paying for their own children to go to school as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Ajiri means to employ in Swahili, and we employ the women to make the packaging. As I said, our profits go back to pay school fees for orphans in Kenya. But what I need to talk about is the tea and the coffee itself. So we have a number of black teas. And that black tea, the actual black tea, is sourced from Kenya, from the same part of Kenya where the women and the students are from. It's grown on really small farms, like a 1/4 acre to 2 acres of land. It's all handpicked, and then we buy it from a cooperative of those small farmers. It's really great tea. Kenyan tea is excellent tea, and this tea itself, because it's all handpicked, it doesn't get that bitter taste that a lot of teas get.
I see.
And Kenyan tea is very similar to an Assam. Actually, it was brought to Kenya in the early 1900s from Assam, so it's only had 100 years to change it all.
Assam, which is very close to Darjeeling, that area in eastern India. So fantastic. So you're not only helping these 30 students, kids, but also many other women, like 60 you mentioned, which are employed, and it's giving them great confidence, self-respect, and also a consistent earning. And then there's also an ad hoc banking system. It seems like you created where they can, if they have certain specific needs at a certain time, they can coalesce together and help each other out, which is fantastic.
Right. They do that on their own. We have 2 full-time employees in Kenya, Difna and Regina, and they sort of help to guide those programs. But at this point, the women are just doing that, and it's really been fun to see that grow over the years.
Sarah, this was fantastic. Hopefully we'll get you to come to visit the store one day and talk in person, and maybe we could have some tea or coffee within the store, and we can have a more in-depth conversation on this. But thanks for taking the time, making this happen. Good luck to you. Best wishes. Happy holidays, and and a happy new year coming up. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
You done recording? Sorry, I kind of went off the rails there.
No, this was great. This was really, really good. So
I can't figure out how to hold these. But thank you. The tea is really, really good, and I think you will, and your customers will enjoy drinking it.
Okay, and then looking forward to it. Sarah, thanks again for taking the time. I know it was very short, and it's this is not something at least I don't do very much, but I think it does get the message across, and hopefully people will respond positively. Okay.
All right.
Take care.
See you in the summer. But
yes. Okay. Take care. Bye.